Go.
What?
Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we are discussing a Quentin Tarantino movie from 2012,
12.
is it? 2012. Starring in the main role Jamie Foxx as Django in Django Unchained. It's a Western set, was it 2 or 3 years before the American Civil War? Mainly about the slave trade, the plantations and stuff like that, and bounty hunting. So it's got an all-star cast, and it's got a lot of violence, a lot of swearing, and a lot of letter N's in this movie. So we'll go over to these two guys here for their opening thoughts on Django Unchained. Go on then, Connor. I know you're a fan of Quentin.
I do. I like Quentin Tarantino. This is my favorite film of his as well, because it's. I think it was the first film of his I saw actually, back in 2012 when I started to really get into movies in like the run up to the Oscars in 2013. I watched Django Unchained, and yeah. Christoph Waltz is one of my favorite actors. I think in this he's phenomenal. To kind of have his breakout role in Inglourious Bastards and then to come back almost like 2 years later with this in a completely different role. I think these two films kind of established him as a kind of big Hollywood actor. And I mean, he won Oscars for both. Let's not forget. So, Jamie Foxx is an actor that, to be honest, like I'm not really that exposed to. Like, I've not seen many of Jamie Foxx's films, but I think that this is a fantastic performance from him. Leo isn't in it as much as I would have liked, but he's a great villain as Candy. I liked Quentin's appearance towards the end as the ranch guy. That's quite funny. Don Johnson as well, as you mentioned before the cast, and also Samuel Jackson as Stephen, Leo's housekeeper, I guess you could call him. My absolute favorite scene in this, and it's the one that most people talk about, I think, is shortly after Candy kills Schultz, Django just kind of goes on this huge shootout and just kills everyone. Like the whole house is literally like painted with blood by the end of it. And I think that's one of the best kind of scenes in any Quentin Tarantino film. I like when they're kind of starting their bounty hunting, and they go to that I don't, would you call it a tavern in them times, or is it where they go for a drink and they kind of clear the place out, and
a saloon.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's it. And they call the sheriff, and he just kills the sheriff and exposes him as this criminal. Like, he's got balls of like fucking brass as Schultz. And I think that Django, when he gets the nice clothes and all that sort of stuff, he kind of picks up where Schultz left off, and he kind of you can see his confidence kind of grow into this individual person that's not a slave, because whenever he goes to places like Don Johnson's huge manor, he's told that he can't be on horseback or anything because he's a black man, so he's a slave. Kerry Washington as well, I think. Well, to be honest, she didn't play a huge part. She is kind of as Broomhilda. She is the I guess she's the end goal, isn't she? Because she's what sets Django on his journey. She's great in it as well. And it's just a really great cast, and I like the setting. I like the topical content of it. It's got some great violence in it. great performances from Leo, Jamie, and Christoph. Yeah, it's just it's like, I think it's one of them kind of quintessential Quentin Tarantino films, and it was the first Western he did. He kind of, since Django, he's kind of gone on a primarily Western kind of streak, because he did this and then he did Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
So it was, he kind of got into the Western vibe. But yeah, this just has everything that a great Western. You can tell that he really kind of took from, you know, Sergio Leone's films and all that sort of stuff to kind of make this Western. And as a kind of first attempt into the genre, yeah, it's a great film. That's so yeah, that's my opening thoughts.
Cool. Yeah. If you say you mentioned that you're not really up on Jamie Foxx's movies, I suggest you watch Ray.
Ray.
Yeah.
That's where he plays Ray Charles, isn't it? But he actually, I've read about that film. Because he kind of went a bit method. He did stuff. I think, did he glue his eyes shut?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean,
I think he glued his eyes shut so that he was actually blind to play that part. He didn't fake it. Yeah, I've read about that film actually. I will give that a watch.
Yeah, he won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, that's probably why, because they love method actors, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's move over to Susan.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's got a hell of a lot of violence in it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a searching for, love movie too. The whole story of I mean, the names of the people, each of the names is telling a separate story. I mean, there's Django, and I don't know what that means, but King Schultz is like the king in the Valkyries in the story of Siegfried and Brunhilde and stuff, and so it was. I mean, there was a lot of storytelling that was done through quiet moments with stares and then there was these over the top speeches. I love Leonardo DiCaprio. He just ate scenery a lot, and so did actually Butch, who was played by James Remar or Remar. I've been watching him for 4 seasons in Black Lightning. He plays Uncle Gamby, and that he's sort of like the Kingsman, or Q to Bond or whatever. But in this, he's a brutal guy, Butch is, and that was a good. It was good to see him do something with that, and then you know. And I love all the scenes where he's giving him reason to live and reason to go on. Schultz is giving Django reason to live and go on, and I love all their schemes, like the scheme for the fighting men. What are they called? Jimbo or something. Anyway, that was an incredibly complex scheme to try and buy uh, Broomhilda out of slavery. But I like the fact that was successful. I mean, as an abolitionist watching this movie, it's like it the violence doesn't piss me off as much as the pain of the people who have suffered under that, you know. And I mean, I love that Tarantino knows that about me as an audience member, and he knows how to make me twitch, you know. And let's see. Yeah, I liked seeing uh, Tarantino. Oh, he wasn't a rancher. He was a miner, and they used to use, uh, you know, black slaves for mining purposes as well, because they didn't have to. It's like when they use in the eastern part of the United States, the southeast, they used miners who were black to mine coal and anything else that was in those mines. And then in the west, in Montana area, they used Chinese miners. Um, Similar conditions. It's a bit rough anyway. It was fun seeing Don Johnson, but and Tom Wopat was also in this. He played Luke Duke in the Dukes of Hazzard, and Jamie Foxx is brilliant. He is just so good, and I like this. I like the bits where. Well, yeah, I don't know if I can say I like him, but anyway, it's a good movie. So really, really brutal and entertaining, just like Lee likes him. So back over to you, Lee.
Too right. Not enough violence, I would say, in movies. Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good movie. I prefer this to The Hateful Eight. This one, Tarantino gets it just right, even if it's the way the blacks were treated back then, in the slave trade on the plantations. It's history. It happened that way. They was treated that way. Tarantino didn't hold back. He just put it out there as it was, and you've got to say thank you for doing that, and not fucking whitewashing everything over. Not cancelling everything out. Just tell us how it was, and that's what he does. And to get the cast he gets is amazing. As I said, Jamie Foxx, as people have mentioned, is such a great actor in this. Christoph Waltz, yeah, it's a shame he was killed off in this movie, because you just getting to like the character, because you don't know. At the beginning, you don't know what he's playing at, and then you sort of you get warm to him, you get liking to his character, and then all of a sudden, bang, he's gone. And Leo as well. Yeah, I agree with what Connor says. Not much time in the movie, but when he's in the movie, what such screen presence. Such he. I mean, okay, he's a leading man. He does loads of movies, but when he plays villains, he knows how to play a villain. And Don Johnson as another villain as Big Daddy. Brilliant role that as well. And Samuel L. Jackson. What can we say about Samuel L. Jackson? It's Samuel L. Jackson. Any role what Samuel L. Jackson plays, I always think he's playing himself. He doesn't. Well, you know what I mean. He comes on screen. It's effortless. It doesn't look like he's acting. And to me, it's just him. Because you see him in interviews, that's Samuel L. Jackson. You see him on the screen, that's Samuel L. Jackson. So he's got an easy job, really. Just play yourself. Yeah, it was good to watch this. Because I'm not a big fan of westerns, but there is some good ones out there, and this is one of the best. So, shall we go to favourite moments? Things you weren't so keen on. We'll go Susan this time.
All right. Well, things I wasn't so keen on. Let's see. Well, it was like the idea, the whole concept of slavery, and that is abhorrent to me. And so, the redeeming moments were short, but they were there. The redemption of Broomhilda, the redemption of Django, and how they dealt with what's his name, Stephen, how they dealt with him at the end. Really right in the middle of my what I want for everyone who's enslaved. And my favorite moments must be things like I liked the interplay in the house where that that fake game about the like the fake purchase of the male fighters was going on. That ruse was really and then how Steven ruined it. I mean, but how it was really well thought out from Django and Schultz. And I liked there are some pretty funny moments when they put the dynamite in the tooth and then they blew up the dentist cart. I mean, for a second there, I thought that they were putting that he was hiding all the freedom papers in there. And I was like, oh shit, what just happened? Now they're going to end up back, enslaved. But no, anyway. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like the fight scenes, they were great. Anyway, so yeah, those are my favorite moments. Back over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan, and we'll move swiftly over to Connor.
I like the one of my absolute favorite moments is the positive scene where he doesn't know the meaning of positive. So Schultz explains to him the meaning of positive, and then he asks him if he's sure that these guys are the people that enslaved him and abused him and all that sort of thing. And Schultz just pulls out this gun that looks like a microscope. It's like really weird. It's like a little thing. You wouldn't expect it to like do what it does. And then he's like, oh, God, I don't know the distance, but it's an extremely long, extremely far away from the target. And he just gets him. And what the bit that I love, the shot that I love, is where it goes to like the what is it? What's the flowers called in the field? I can't remember. Is the white flowers anyway, and it just like gets covered in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just amazing. And when he kind of is on this revenge, the same revenge trip as that scene, where he starts just whipping the guy, yeah, he just starts beating the crap out of him with this whip. It's just proper. I agree with Susan. Really, you kind of it's Quentin Tarantino kind of giving black people it's to the advantage of the black person as this film, because it's talking about slavery, but it's always about the black person getting their own back, because like in that particular scene, Django kills two of the people and then Schultz kills the other that enslaved and abused him. And one of them, he's able to kind of really beat the crap out of one of them with that whip. And you just feel that anger. It's a very angry kind of movie as well. Another of my favorite scenes is when Leo says, the kind of sat around the table and he says, you have my curiosity. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention. And then it kind of all kicks off from there. That's really great. And as I said, the shootout is always a big moment. I also like the one scene that I'm shocked no one has mentioned is when out of nowhere Jonah Hill appears. That Ku Klux Klan meeting is one of the funniest fucking scenes in cinema in the last 20 years.
There was a lot of that going on. A lot of random cameos in there, or people who you wouldn't expect to be in that group of Ku Klux Klan members. And
taking the piss out of the guy's wife because she can't cut these masks. It's just the bags that they have to put over the heads is just amazing. And they're all like, oh, shall we do it with bags or without bags? And then they just end up kind of going on the way, doing what they have to do. And then they end up kind of all getting blown up by this this booby-trapped wagon that Schultz has set up. That is just funny as fuck. That is the funniest scene in the whole film, I think. And it's taking something so serious, kind of, and turning it on its head. And I feel that's what Quentin's great at. And I think that scene kind of just embodies Quentin Tarantino style, really, is that he's just able to take the Ku Klux Klan and make them all look like fucking idiots. Just in one. Can't remember the name of the song that they used either during that scene, but it really added to it.
Battles, that was right.
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? It was. It's well-known piece anyway, isn't it? But yeah, like just the use of that song as well. Quentin again is great with music. Yeah, that's my favorite moment.
Thank you. I'll just scribble that favourite moment off my list. Another one gone. Because I did put it was a homage to Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles, that scene with the masks. That comedy bit was just Mel Brooks would have been proud of that. Yeah, so that's my favourite scene scratched there. Let me think of another one. There is so many though. As you say, you've mentioned the whipping. The one was where the shootout in the house in Candyland. It's so, I mean, as you've said, just blood everywhere.
Yeah, so graphic.
What made me laugh was the guy laid in the front of the doorway, and every bullet was kept hitting him in the leg. He's screaming out in agony every time a bullet hit him. For me, one of the best scenes is Leo's Candy's death. It just so unexpected when Schultz that gun comes from up his sleeve and right into his carnation, and the look of just shock on Candy's face as he just collapses. Not over the top death, just a bang, you're gone, and then all of a sudden, Candy's henchman blasts Schultz away into the bookcase.
Through the bookcase, which is
Schultz is no more. I mean that scene was so brilliant, but I think it was mentioned earlier, the Leo speech at the dinner table with the skull. That is just, it was just so well done and so forceful and powerful, proving to me that Leo is one of the best actors around. For being in a movie, a total of 20 minutes, 25 minutes in total.
Yeah.
There's every scene he's in, he steals it. What else is there? The dancing horse at the end, I didn't get that.
No.
Where the hell did that come from? But that was Tarantino, I suppose, a bit of that. And also as well, Tarantino with the sticks of dynamite. I just love that.
Because they'd ridden all the way from Texas to Tennessee, and that was a Tennessee Walker. That's the way they prance. The horses do that.
I'm not a horseman, so I don't know that. But this is the Tarantino scene with the sticks of dynamite in the bag and the boom. So I'm trying to pick all the humorous things here as well, because it is a dark movie. It is telling the tale of American slave history of the time, and you can't change anything about it. It happened, and this is Tarantino's take on it.
You can set everybody free, though, right?
Yeah. At the end of it, the Django won. He got his revenge on everybody who hurt him and his wife. That was just reminded me. The scene with the white speaking German, and Django opens the door and she just faints. Bit more comedy. What was it? What did Schultz say? Oh, you sweet talker. Yeah, and as Connor mentioned, Tarantino is also known for adding a great soundtrack to his movies. I mean, this was set in the past, but he was using sort of modern soul funk music for the scenes, which is a Tarantino thing, what he's done for most of his movies. So anything else would like to say about Django before I go to final say and score?
I love the line, "I like the way you die, boy." That He's so good at dialogue. I think he really is the best dialogue writer on earth. Is Tarantino?
And has he come up to his final film yet, or has he gone past that now?
His next film is going to be his last.
Is he going to stick to that?
I hope not. Yeah.
Do we know what he is doing? Or there's no plans yet. No.
No, but it'll be something. He'll do one in probably about 5 years. Because I mean, Hateful Eight was 2017.
2015.
2015. Oh yeah, 2015. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was 2019. Or was it 2020? No, 2019. Yeah, so there's about 4 or 5 years in between each film now. So there was 3 in between Django and Hateful Eight. So maybe, he might get one out in the next 2 years or so. But I think it'll be about 3 years before we hear anything.
I don't know why he's put a number on the movies he's going to make. I just don't understand.
He's one of... I think the part of the reason why he did it was Stanley Kubrick. Because Stanley Kubrick did so little movies, but all of his movies are considered classics. So what he wants people to look at his movies at the end of his career and say every one of them is like above an 8 out of 10. Now, Death Proof isn't, so he's kind of already failed at that. But if he keeps doing films, then eventually, I mean, look at Spielberg and Scorsese. You lose your touch after a while. You get into, all directors kind of have it where they have a slump. And he doesn't want to be like a Spielberg or a Scorsese where he's making hundreds and hundreds of films like in his career. I mean, Nolan is on about a similar number to Tarantino.
Oh, maybe after Tenet, well, you might as well give up there.
So he's not. He's kind of going a little bit downhill as well already. So it's kind of, I think Quentin wants to avoid that. And now he's started to write books. I mean, he's releasing a book in July that's like a novelization version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So he might go back and novelize his films, a bit like Doctor Who with the Target novels. But so you never know what he'll do next.
Yeah, but it won't be for kids, will it?
No.
Was there another Django movie before this?
Django was known, wasn't it, before Django Unchained?
Django was. I'm positive it was a spaghetti western.
So the reason that they had Franco Nero in different script was because he played the original.
Franco Nero cameoed in this because he was in the original movie, as far as I remember. I don't know if he played Django, but he was in the original movie.
They're actually making, and I think Quentin is involved because he made a graphic novel to a similar effect, where it's going to be Zorro versus Django.
Well, that'll be interesting.
So yeah, he's kind of continuing on the Django. But I believe Django was something before Django Unchained. Django Unchained wasn't the first Django film.
This was Tarantino's take on the Django name.
Because the logo that's on like the DVD and everything and on the posters is the same logo, that the word Django is the same logo that was used on that previous film. That whatever, like in the 50s, whenever it was, the whenever the original Django film came out, spaghetti western.
So I found the quote that I liked the most. It's Schultz is telling Django about Brunhilde, and he said, "It's a German legend. There's always going to be a mountain in there somewhere. And he puts a fire-breathing dragon here to guard the mountain, and he surrounds her in a circle of hellfire, and there Brunhilde shall remain unless a hero arises brave enough to save her. And does Siegfried save her? Quite spectacularly. So he scales the mountain because he's not afraid of it. He slays the dragon because he's not afraid of him. And he walks through hellfire because Brunhilde is worth it." And Django says, "I know how he feels." that retelling of the tale, and how, oh my gosh, the names mean so much. Oh yeah, the other fun bit was sitting in front of the bookcase, and he was thinking about the one D'Artagnan who had been eaten by a dog, and then he was like, I wonder what Dumas would think of what you how you named him, and he's like why was Dumas a softy Frenchie, and he's like, no, Alexander Dumas was black.
Yeah.
So
An
the
ed-
Musketeers are written by a black fella.
yeah, an educated bounty hunter. The original Django was 1966,
Oh, cool. Okay.
and Franco Nero played Django.
Okay, so that's what that was all about.
Mhm. And Connor's right as well. The logo is exactly the
Logo,
same
isn't it? Yeah.
as Unchained. So nothing else to say. Shall we move on to final say and score? Okay, go on, Connor.
I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's classic. Quentin Tarantino. So one I can always go back and watch, actually, as well as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I hope we review at some point. Oh, have we already reviewed that? I can't remember.
Well, you know what you'll have to do? You have to go on the channel and look through our playlist.
I think we've already reviewed. I have a feeling we've already reviewed it, but yeah. Yeah, this is, them two are my favorites of his. So yeah, this gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me.
Not a bad score. Susan?
I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Explosive dentist cart out of 10. What a way to go. What a way to finish up your career as a dentist. He knew he wasn't long for the world when he gave up his dentistry. Anyway.
I changed my score. 8.5 clueless, foolish, Ku Klux Klan members out of 10.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to give it 9 Django nuts out of 10. Well, if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm on about.
Yep.
But yeah, 9 out. It's a brilliant movie. It's a typical Tarantino tale. Really well shot, directed, acted. Might not be everybody's cup of tea because of the violence and the swearing, but who gives a fuck?
Oh.
Well, this is the day and age now, isn't it? It's just
Yep, it is.
So that's our little review of Django Unchained. I'd like to thank Susan and Connor for taking the time out and discussing this movie. You guys out there, please leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of the movie. And if you are leaving comments, that means you're watching us on YouTube. Please, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on everything. Go watch some of our past videos. If you'd like to join, message me or whoever, and I'll try and get you on to our cast or group. And please press the notification button on YouTube, and you'll get notified every time we put a new video up. So we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the world. It's our plan is slow, well.
You know what? We're all from the north.
No.
We don't have none of the southern stuff, but yeah.
They say this is our slow world domination plan, and we are slowly not getting there, but we will do eventually, before I'm 6 feet under, of course, and that's not far away. So until next time, folks, take care, and we'll be seeing you. Bye for now.